Hey, welcome back to another meal prep, how to eat healthy for cheap. So I have about $110 worth of ingredients here, and we're just going to start making meals. For starters, you're going to need your oven or an air fryer. I'm going to go with oven because it's just a lot more convenient at this option to get a lot of stuff in at one spot. So we're going to throw in some frozen meatballs. They take about 15 minutes. Added a jar of tomato sauce or pasta sauce, if you will. Add a little bit of water to get out the remnants and then put that in the oven, 350, 15 minutes. Once they were baked, I made 4 meals here. 3 of them have 3 meatballs, 1 of them has 4 meatballs, just because there's an odd number of servings. I don't like that, if I'm being honest. Why not just send 4 servings? Why is it 4 1/4? Anyways, I digress. It doesn't really matter. Split up the sauce as evenly as I could, and then I made some high-protein veggie pasta and then split that into 4. So I get this question all the time. I don't really care about super measuring my food to the gram. I just kind of eyeball it to a portion. So if you want to do it differently, you can get a food scale, weigh it out, make it so it's even. I don't really care. I also get a lot of questions of if my husband eats this. Yes, but I make them in my portion sizes, and then if he eats them, he will eat 2 portions typically. So it just works easiest for me that way. But I love to meal prep because it saves us a ton of money, and it is just really, really convenient. So everything's done for the week. All right, so I'm poking holes in sweet potatoes. This is one of the meals that I am just starting but not finishing. I'm also making a bunch of green beans to also have for meals later on. If you saw my ingredients, I did pull out some chicken tenders. They are plant-based. I will throw those in the air fryer later this week. I decided instead of throwing them into the oven because I wanted to make sure they were super crunchy because they're the best that way. So got some sweet potatoes on the docket for later this week. Made some brown rice. Now I know it's so much cheaper to make it on the stovetop, but I decided with everything that I knew I was going on the stovetop and the oven, etc., I just want to make this super fast and convenient. I like to use a mix of convenience foods and homemade. It's just the best thing for me. It works in my budget, but you can definitely make this homemade on the stovetop, in the Instant Pot, whatever you want to do, and make it for super cheap. So I did make 2 packets of these rice. I end up only using 1, and I just threw the other one into the refrigerator, and then we had on hand. I know that's kind of silly because you don't really need to make this ahead of time. But again, one of the meals that I was going to make, I just kind of ditched the idea and then saved it, and we had it later this day for lunch, so it worked out perfect. So anyways, split this into 3, and then I'm going to add some Boca Burgers to this meal and some green beans. I got a ton of green beans on sale at the grocery store and decided to roast them in the oven and make them super, super delicious. A lot of weeks I will meal prep on Sundays and Wednesdays, and recently I've been meal prepping kind of for myself on Sundays and my husband on Wednesdays. It's been working out really well, and like I said, we kind of eat similar, but he does eat higher protein than I do, and we just like different things. So again, if he eats some of these meals, he'll just eat 2 of them. Right now, I just eat 1, and it works perfect for me. All right, so we're putting together these meals, super delicious, super easy, high protein. I added 2 Boca Burgers to each, and then a third of those rice packets. There are 2 cups of rice per bag, and honestly, they were super inexpensive. It was $2 or something. So for a convenient item, I thought that was really inexpensive. For the green beans, I am spraying my cooking sheets with a little bit of cooking spray just so that they get nice and roasty, and then they kind of absorb that oil a little bit. And then I'm just adding some salt. I put them in at 350 degrees, and each one took about 40 minutes. I'd love to hear from you down below. What are you meal prepping this week? What are some of the dinners you have on your menu. I love hearing those things from you. Plus, it gives others ideas when they read through the comments. And like I always say, it always gives me new ideas for later on in the weeks to come. I'd also love to hear from you. Every year, I always do a budget-friendly Thanksgiving kind of feast. I have done one, I think, the last 3 years. Let me know down below if you'd like me to do that again. I need to start planning if I am, because it needs to go out in the next week or two. I am really not in the thought process of Thanksgiving right now. We don't really celebrate Thanksgiving or Halloween. We just love Christmas. As you could see, I had my Christmas tree up. Anyways, the extra green beans are on hand for my husband's lunches this week and for a dinner recipe that we're going to put together. It's a stir fry with green beans. Looked really good. Found it on Pinterest, and we're going to try it later this week. Okay, here is a new recipe that was a semi-fail, I feel like, but it wasn't bad. We are going to start baby-led weaning here in the next couple weeks. We are already on solid foods, but I decided to start intro foods with purees and then move into baby-led weaning once we got the intro foods in and we knew we had no allergies with those. So this is a recipe I found on Pinterest, but I decided to try it first. With the original recipe, you use regular oats, not flavored oats. But since I had the flavored oats on hand, I decided to use them since I am eating this, not my baby. So I did 4 packets of the cream oats, 2 of the strawberries and cream, 2 of the bananas and cream, 4 bananas, mixed it up. Now, you can also do this recipe as cookies if you just use these 2 ingredients, but the recipe on Pinterest called for 1 cup of oats, 4 bananas, and then 4 whole eggs, and it's kind of like a souffle / pancake. I decided to use egg whites because, again, it's for me. I wanted to try the recipe out, and even though I kind of mixed things up, I did enjoy it. I just feel like I needed to bake it a little bit longer because of the egg whites instead of the eggs that I used. But even though it was a semi-fail, it was still super delicious, and I'm excited to make this when we lean into baby-led weaning here in the next couple weeks, and then just kind of modify the recipe so it fits my baby's needs. But I also really like the idea of making things that we both can enjoy throughout the week, so I don't have to make even more meals for somebody else, if that makes sense. Like, we can incorporate the things that we eat with her, and I love that idea, and that's why we're doing BLW. A lot of times my favorite thing is to explore in my kitchen and try new things because you never know. It might turn out really, really well, or it might turn out terribly. This was one, again, it was more like a souffle, and I think it just needed a few more oats or to bake a little bit longer, but overall the flavor was there, and when I reheated it throughout the week, I actually put it in the air fryer so it cooked up and got kind of crunchy on the outside, so it was actually really, really good. It was 4 servings. You can see here a little bit, it doesn't look like it's holding together because of the egg whites. I'm sure if you used eggs, regular oatmeal, and bananas like the original recipe and then baked it a little bit longer, it would have been fine, but it turned out okay. It was a semi-fail, I feel like, but not too bad, and I'm excited to try this recipe again and just kind of interchange the ingredients a little bit. All right, moving on, I am making some egg sandwiches. These are one of my favorite things to keep on hand. Anytime I have any English muffins left over from when we had company or from another recipe, I use them up in my meal prep because it's like a really easy, convenient thing that I can take on the go for work in the morning. Same with my husband. So I will have one of these after my morning workout on the way to work, and it just makes things super easy and convenient, saves me from running through the drive-thru, and it's super inexpensive. If you hear the baby pterodactyl in the background, that is our little love, and she's just having fun. Honestly, she is the loudest baby I think I've ever met, but she's happy loud. Sometimes I feel like in the background she can sound angry or upset, but she's just found her voice, and she's so happy all the time. We absolutely adore and love her. So if you hear in the background, that's our baby pterodactyl. Anyways, egg sandwiches, super easy, super convenient. I love to make a few of them on hand whenever I have leftover English muffins. And I also made egg white burritos this day, but did not share the recipe because I feel like I've made them every single meal prep video in the last few weeks. But I will tag a video down below if you want to check it out, and then you can see how I made those.